Hmm.
Basically, as I I came up with this idea probably a month and a half ago. I'm like, you know what? I like conversing with people. I like catching up with people. Maybe we can find a way to give people a voice and um, just like if we get like an engaging podcast like Joe Rogan or something like that. Obviously,
Hmm.
1 in 10 million people make it. So, but with our different personalities, I think it might be interesting because we got some interesting stories to tell. We got some funny shit. It's uncensored and everything, so you can say whatever you want. I don't care. Um, it's just a free country, so obviously no racism, no none of that funny, not funny stuff, none of that shitty stuff. But anything else that you think wouldn't offend people, like for example, being like, I don't believe in non-binary people. Yeah, I don't know if we can really say that, but everybody's gonna have their point of view. So it's like,
Basically, don't be a prick.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I
I
want to keep it as
yeah,
casual
yeah,
as possible. So yeah,
go with
that's
that.
the whole point of this is to have a conversation with you, to catch up with you, talk about the good stuff, the good times in life, see what you remember about me in the past tense, and I remember like how we first met, this and this, and how you introduced me to marijuana because you're the first person that got me into that. Funny stories, Sparky, Shaka, you know what I mean? Like without exposing them too much, because I know he doesn't like to be online. Like he likes to keep it anonymous. The guy uses
Hmm.
fucking DuckDuckGo for some reason. So, but in the beginning, brother, let's throw it back a little bit. Let's go back to Kid Solano. I don't want to put this. I don't want to. Let's see how like the conversation goes, like between 1 or 2 hours. But ideally between that range. After that, that gets too much, and then it can get repetitive, boring, whatever. But um, you're from France. You currently inhabit in Paris. Is that correct?
Hmm. Exactly.
You are studying at the moment.
Psych.
And what is your goal?
To become a clinical psychologist.
Clinical psychologist. Okay, so then we do have some topics in common there. Not that I want to become that, but you probably would know about some stuff, so that'd be interesting. Um,
You did a couple of years of psych. You told me.
yes, correct. So we can go into that. But if we go back to kids, what did you feel about school, like the education system? Do you think that was flawed? Do you think that it worked for you? Do you think, because I'm always curious what people have to say about the education system, like kids in general, whether it's people or how they teach it, or is it useless? Is it a good foundation for you to learn stuff, or what do you think?
Hmm. Well, I don't know how you feel, but you kind of have that same background as me, as of you grew up you did a part of your schooling at least in another country, and
Hmm.
then you got to compare that with your schooling in Canada. And coming to Canada was quite interesting because the you'll probably agree that the school system is quite enables a lot of options, enables a lot of things. Some classes are quite eccentric, like doing woodworking or metalwork in high school for a French person is kind of weird,
Hmm.
unless you're in that particular specified field, because in France they specify. So
Hmm.
that's one other thing in Canada that's interesting, is that you don't have to choose a field um, until you arrive at university, which I find quite good compared to the French system, where you have to choose at 15, basically, the first big choice of pathways. And so I found that quite interesting. But Kits was a weird place. A lot of weird things happened in that school. Weird dynamics, but always remember always remember them. Quite interesting people, quite interesting things.
Okay. So when we talk,
And
sorry to interrupt you, because I wanted to tie in a little bit into
no.
kids. The way you arrived from, or let's go a little bit back a little bit. So you were born in, is it in Paris, or exactly in France?
Yeah, in Paris.
Okay. And then at what age did you come here?
15.
So okay, so as you said, you did a little bit of schooling there, and you dominated already the French language, but you didn't know English at all, zero.
No, no, no. I did. I learned English and French at the same time when I was young, but I didn't have great writing skills in English, mostly in French because my schooling was in French. But no, I knew how to speak English.
Okay, so then you came here, and the first school that you came to was Kits, or did you jump to some other school and then you moved into
No,
Kits?
first one was kids. Did you arrived in grade
10 and a half.
11?
10 and a
10
half.
and a half, right, in the middle of the year.
That's right.
Right.
That was yeah. Well, 10 and a half. So that was 2013. That was I was here in March. I arrived to Vancouver March something like March 10th of 2013. And my parents were like, should we go to Lord Byng or should we go to Prince of Wales or should we go to Kitsilano? That's right across the street. And what about Kits, man? It's right across the street. So yeah, I was thrown in there into like, all right, this is my 15th school. Fuck, here we go. But
Why was it your 15th school? What do you mean?
I've
You've
been
done a bunch of others?
yeah, because I've moved around a lot. So because when I was 3, I moved from Colombia to Toronto. So in Toronto, I had like at least 8, maybe 10 schools, and then we moved back to Colombia, and then we were there for about 6 years. I was in Toronto for 7 years, moved back for 6, and then we arrived here. Something like that. I
So
think that's how it goes.
stability was not something that you had experienced a lot.
Not really, brother. To be honest, I felt like a white nomad.
I know that exactly.
I just couldn't. I couldn't piece it together. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's just my parents' job um, with their what's it called? Just because they used to be photographers and they used to do like highlights for weddings and video. My dad's a videographer, so he knows how to use Premiere Pro and all that stuff and Final Cut back in the Mac days. But it was the constant moving around that made me like confused as fuck. And there's no foundation. There was like, where am I? What do you want, buddy? Like, there's no solid group of friends that I'm like, yeah, okay. These are the people, because I've known so many people throughout my life that I'm like, all right, so now what? It's until that I arrived to Kit and then I met you guys. But when I don't know if I met you in grade 10 and a half or probably when we started 11 because maybe you had class together. Do you remember how that happened?
I don't remember exactly, but it does make sense if you tell me that you arrived in 10 and a half. It was probably during the rest of that year, that grade 10 year, that we started talking, hanging out, and that, and then more so in grade 11 when we had more classes together and started chilling with Monroe and Shaka and the and Bastion.
Oh, wow. I forgot about this guy.
What was that other guy's name?
Julius.
Blonde. Julius, exactly.
Okay. That was 2013, really? When these guys arrived?
I think that was grade 11.
Okay, so
They
they...
did that one year, and then the Italians came during the grade 12 year.
Because you were legendary, man, for always lending us your place and, hey, let's chill downstairs in the social room and let's hang out, let's talk shit, let's... I don't know, by then you probably... Yeah, because you always smoked your whole life, right? So, actually, before we enter that, how does...
I was born with a cigarette in my hand.
How does that work, brother? Like, because I know it's a cultural thing in Europe, but why? If you can break that down a little bit, because we don't have that in Colombia. There's no... Sure, you can say cocaine, okay, whatever. Yeah, Pablo Escobar ruined it for all of us. Whatever, right? I've heard that 4 million times, buddy. Like, it's fine. And again, you can't offend me, so it's fine. But when it comes to Europe, why is cigarettes such a big deal? Because I know you can't smoke on commercials anymore because apparently that's illegal. You don't see those ads anymore on TV. Oh, they're holding a Coca-Cola and then they're smoking on the side. You can't do that, right?
Well, I don't know exactly the answer to that, but it seems like in the late 70s and 80s in France, there was still... It was still pretty anchored in the society to smoke cigarettes at even a very, very young age. Like, it was very common for families to give wine and a cigarette after dinner. So wine during dinner, a cigarette after dinner
Wow.
to their like 7, 8 year old kids. It happened. It was not the most common, but it happened. And then kids smoking around 10, stuff like that. That was quite common. Why is that? I don't know. Probably bloody misinformation about tobacco, because the tobacco industries are quite uh, influential in Europe. Um, I but I guess it's also
It's just your upbringing, eh? So I know you didn't really actually spawn with a cigarette out of your mother's womb.
I didn't start smoking until Vancouver. I
Oh, really? Okay. So
Yeah.
until you're 15. Okay. Huh? But when you're in France, everybody you know around you smokes, or is there people there that is
I live
that?
with my girlfriend who doesn't smoke.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So not everybody.
Um,
Okay.
no, no, no. And it's interesting, but more and more people are stopping smoking at the moment. Some of my friends have been smoking since they're like 13, 14, and there's this general vibe right now at like 24, 25, where try to you realize that shit, I haven't been taking much care of my body. Maybe I should start doing a little bit of effort. And there's this people started going to the gym a little more and stuff like that, which was absolutely normal for Canadians. But I never understood that. Why is that normal? Why is everybody bloody going to the gym? Um, what muscles? Like, is that it? I
Right.
don't
Right.
understand. Um,
Hmm. Well, so when we tie into because I know gym was really never part of your life apart from PE, but you're always like fit and stuff. Like you would fucking cremate me and dodgeball and all these sports. You were really athletic naturally. You don't get tired unless it's
Man, so
running.
are you. What are you talking about? So are you.
I got ganged up on thanks to fucking Sutherland and Peter Cock I love and all these guys, right? Like I had bullies, so I nobody really bothered you as far as what I've seen or what I saw. Is that correct, or did you get bullies too for being a foreigner?
Mm, no, I didn't feel that. But I did hang out a lot with the Asian group during that grade 10 year,
Okay.
and I would feel like I would sense that people are super judgmental. Those Canadians were super judgmental of the Asian groups, and it was this weird hate that had no purpose. There was nothing to really support it. It was just this hate that they had. Maybe hate is a little bit of a strong word,
Mhm.
but it's they weren't buddies a lot with the Asian groups. And then you can say, oh yeah, but the Asian guys they used to chill a lot in their own community and all of that. But I think that they didn't really feel welcome, and I would sense that with that. And that maybe is why I chilled with them a lot, because I arrived in grade 10, groups were formed,
Mhm.
and I'm not an extrovert, so fuck trying to make friends and being gregarious and all that.
Mhm.
Um, those guys were quite open and quite interesting. Had their own games, had their own languages, then their own culture,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was nice.
It's always nice when you come from another place because you can experience like this is why I don't like Colombia. Sure, great food, that's about it. And when it comes to like there's just no foreigners. There's just no. It's not interesting. You come here and it's everybody around the world. That's my favorite thing
Yeah,
about Canada, diversity.
even there isn't like a certain diversity of South Americans in Colombia. Like some are from Brazil, some maybe from Puerto Rico.
Are you asking me or are you telling me which
I'm
one?
asking you.
Oh,
No, I'm asking you.
no, not really. It's usually like people around Colombia that like most people where I'm from, Medellin, they're from there. They're like, oh, maybe I'm here from the capital. Or I'm here for visiting here and there. But foreigners, of what I remember,
Ah, but you were
no.
in you weren't in the capital.
No, Medellin. I was like 8 hours away in car of the capital. Yeah.
And did you ever live in the capital?
Never been. Nope.
Because mostly when there is diversity in a country, it seems to be
The capital. Yeah, I see. Okay.
focused in the capital. So maybe there is more, but you haven't seen it because you go in the fucking middle of nowhere in France here, and of course there's only white French that have never left France once in their whole entire miserable lives. um, but yeah, capitals tend to be quite diversified.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So that's true. I've passed by Bogota, but I've never actually stopped and taken a look and seen. Due to the dangers of the place. Like it's like, yeah, well,
Yes, that's that is something that you have to take into account when you live in Colombia.
yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how it is nowadays. I haven't been there. It's been since 2017 the last time I've been there, and I don't have any urges to go back due to the fact that I barely have any family members left. So it's like everybody just see you in the next life, buddy. And it's fine
Yeah.
because I have a different like point of view of death. But like it's not like a saddening thing for me. It's like a celebration of life, even though whether I cared for them or I knew them or I loved them, like it's just like, all right, the life of what I've come to understand is like the hardest part is life itself. After that, it gets easy. So it's like, all right, you're in peace.
Wow, so you celebrate people dying? Wow. Good
In a
job,
way,
Alex.
buddy. Yeah, in a way. But apart from that, like let's go back a little bit back to kids because I know you were very open with foreigners. No wonder I remember seeing you hang out with the Chinese people that they just taste like candy. Like I don't want to be racist, and I'm just I just want to put a little Louis
Oh
C.K.
my
joke in there.
God.
They're good people. They're funny. There's nothing wrong with being Chinese. Nothing wrong with being anything. But I remember you hanging out with these guys. I don't know if do you remember any names? Like it was it the funny kid Timothy what's
The funny kid. Yeah, yeah, Tim. Tim, I spent quite a lot of time with him.
or I don't know about Charles Song or James Lin or I don't know which one's exactly you. Huh.
Charles a lot as well.
Yeah,
Charles quite a lot of time.
because you liked sports fights. Did you like was it basketball? What did you like playing again?
I
Soccer.
don't know. I played a bit of soccer.
That's what it is. Yeah, mainly soccer then.
Yeah, I guess I did badminton with the Asian guys as well. It was quite.
And so you start like because I remember there being terrified. I'm like, but terrified because I'm like, ah, fuck, let's do this again. I got to start over. And the first thing that happened to me was I was in a locker. The first memory of me and kids is me being in a locker and some fucking random head just pops out. Some girl's head, like she just like pops in like because I close my locker and she's like, "Who are you? What's your name? Where are you from?" And her name was Trinity. And I was like, huh. My first thought wasn't anything. Huh, that's a stripper name. It was the Holy Trinity. She probably is religious or something. But no, that was definitely not the case. I was grade 10 and a half, and she was like
Get
grade 8. And do you remember her? Maybe.
don't, but I remember the name, but I don't remember.
I was like, huh. And then I don't know if you remember John Ferrari, John something like that. He's like this bigger. I don't think he's black. He's like maybe half black or 75% black. Super nice guy, and he was like the second person I ever met because Kieran introduced me to the school. He walked me around and whatever stuff. But the first actual memory was that locker moment. But when you arrived, what do you think your first moment was? If you can recall.
Don't recall.
Hard to say.
Yeah, quite hard to say.
Because then I know I had an English class. I don't know if you were in English class. I met Andre Lee there and Shaka. But me and Shaka never became close until you were tight with Shaka. And then we all started like talking or whatever. But I remember being jealous of you and Shaka because I'm like, you just arrived here too, and you got a best friend. I got nobody. So I remember having that little resentment for you, because you're like naturally confident. I remember that because you seemed extroverted, or maybe when you were like you're just more chill when you had your parties in your social room and stuff, and you bring gatherings of Amanda, Maya, and all these Tomas and Barbosa and all these fucking foreigners from everywhere around the world. I'm like, this is Canada, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I like. Everybody from everybody's got a story. There's beautiful people everywhere, man. Like fucking Bastion that I was obsessed with him for some reason. I don't even know what it is. I think it was his energy. It's not even because he looked good in my eyes. I was just like something. I just gravitate to people that have good energy. But I was just weird with him because I'm like, I think it's because the girls like him, so therefore I gotta like him too. But I don't think I was gay. I know I'm not gay nowadays.
He was a very chill
Yeah.
guy. He was a handsome lad, that's for sure. But he just had that very chill aura that you can kind of talk to him about kind of anything, and you knew that you wouldn't be judged, or it would just be a nice conversation.
Exactly, and that's how I picked up. And Julius was more serious, little powerful white dude from Germany. Hey, how's Eastern? Because he's a little buff guy. How's East and West Germany going? Is the division still up? I don't fucking know, man. What the Germans talk about. But yeah, the whole premise was like, I love how you just united everybody, and it was at your house or we're at the beach and this and this, which actually ties into a mini story that I got for you. I got a buddy. I don't know. You know Hunter, right? You remember Hunter?
Yeah.
So Hunter introduced me to a buddy of his named Josh that they both worked together, and Josh, super chill guy. You would get along with him because fucking no more stoner as fuck with this guy. Like I haven't met anybody more into marijuana, but he appreciates the weed. It's like Snoopy Dog. Like he smells it.
I barely smoke anymore.
Is that right?
You have this tie in your mind of me and weed, and a lot of people have that, but I'm not that much of a stoner, and I haven't ever been like. Anyways, go ahead.
Yes, you're right, brother. I don't. It's not even to judge you from the past. I'm like, Farrell really introduced me to weed. I remember the time that you.
I don't feel judged. It's not a problem. Like, regard me as such. But I just don't feel that it's adequate. That it's. Anyways, yeah. Sorry. Go on.
I guess it was because in the beginning, like you got me into it with Shaka that one time that we both like he looked Rastafarian as fuck. He's like, this guy's from Jamaica, my man. And then I felt like
sorry
confused.
About that,
no,
that
man.
Moment, by the way, no, seriously, I need to apologize because it was literally stupid peer pressure, but it was also to validate my own my own behavior of smoking weed. More people do the same thing as I do and as we do, then the more we feel like we're doing something together and stuff like that. Anyways, it was stupid mentalities that fueled that that pressure.
Interesting.
And yeah, I already told.
Did you apologize to Shaka too? Really? Yeah, I didn't know it was that serious. I see, because I don't mind, because I figure that life, it's a lesson of its whole. So it's like you don't. I think in order for you to learn from your experiences, is you got to go through them, and failure is definitely the best teacher. That I figure that. I'm like,
Cool.
it makes sense. So it's like if I would have gotten fucked up by that, and then I'm like, you know what, it's a gateway drug, because that was the main thing. We had so much stigma about marijuana in Colombia. Colombia has a very, very friendly opening. Hey, how are you? I don't care where you're from, as long as you're not gay or weird in a way, without saying people that are gay or weird. I'm just like, as long as you fit into the norm, we'll accept you, no problem. But once you say, yeah, so I'm bi, I like men, transgender. No, they don't get it. It's just like they're not open-minded. Therefore, another reason why I like this place, because you get here, there are all kinds of people. So when it comes about drugs, brother, holy fuck, marijuana was you're practicing Satanism.
You still had that conservative ideology from back in Colombia. That,
they instill fear. Yeah, they instill fear. My parents was like, you can't do drugs. Why would you do drugs? Drugs are the perfect solution to all your problems in life. Another Louis C.K. quote. Like, it's just I was so terrified. So when I saw you smoking, I'm like, holy shit! You're probably the first person that I saw. I was like, huh? I guess marijuana is that what it's like? And then I saw more people, and I'm like, huh? And then you're like, hey, you
They
should try
just
it, buddy.
become a little stupider and are easier to make them laugh, but
Yeah,
not much changes.
yeah, I guess. But how I saw it, I had this prejudice of it. I'm like, no, there's no way. This is a gateway. This will lead me into heroin. This will then it's been methamphetamine, and then I'm gonna be homeless. That was just like the story that I was told.
Didn't we ever bet on the fact that that you, I don't know, didn't we ever bet, like, didn't you ever bet that I would get into coke and stuff like that with that idea, that presupposition that that since weed is a gateway drug, then since I'm smoking right now, I'll probably get into other drugs down the line. Did you ever have that bet with me? I don't. I feel
Probably.
like we did.
I just don't know
I
how
feel
much
like
I
we
owe you.
did. Well, let me get my little book where I wrote it down. I'm joking.
I'll send it through PayPal, brother. I don't know. Maybe, perhaps, because I was again, I was terrified, and then I'm like, you're like, go ahead, and I'm like, it's just little fucking blunt, and I'm like, you Shaka, you go first, and then he smoked and he felt nothing, or he pretended, and I used to do that. I remember doing that. Fuck, what a throwback. I used to pretend I was high, so you would stop bothering me. That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, one puff, and I'm like,
Sorry.
no, don't worry about it. Again, this is all funny stories. This is all good jokes that we're talking about in the past, and it's all good, brother. Don't fucking worry about it. It's. I'm glad I lived to experience, because if that wasn't for that, I would have never smoked, and my last experience would have been, or like I probably would have never smoked. But if I did that, and my whole life just consisted on like, like let's put it this way, I used to smoke after that probably once a year, and then in 2016 it got a little bit. All right, let's do it 5 times a year now. All right, let's do it 10, and then it became like once a month or 3 times a month, and then but I never bought it. It was like, hey, you want some? I'm like, it's not laced. Is it
You
fine?
never exceeded 3 times a month, that kind of ratio.
Yeah, I tried to keep things in moderation, just because I like being in control. I don't like losing control. So I get the feeling. It's good, right? It's sit down. It's take in the world. It's textures look brighter for you. It's wait, stop and think. And I'm a very introspective guy, and I know you are too in a way. That's why I think me and you get along. That we both are very within, and we both like psychology. And again, I admire that for you, because I was like, man, this motherfucker's confident in just in general, man. It's not fair, man. Why can't I be confident? And I don't know if you were.
I don't really feel like I was. I don't know. I think that's an idea that you had of me, but it's not really true. I was just struggling like everybody else to
fit in.
fake whatever and fit in and all that. Yeah, definitely. It was a tough time, and plus since I was high most of the time, well, that didn't exactly help. But
How are your grades, by the way?
yeah, my grades, what at the moment?
No. Back then, like, whether I don't care about like, um, what they represent. I'm just saying, like, how are your grades due to the influence of drugs in quotations.
I never really felt the effect of them because I would use it. I would smoke when I finished my stuff, or I've always been a procrastinator, so but I always did my stuff at the last moment anyways.
Okay.
So I was just always in the average. When I started smoking, I didn't go below average or anything, or at least I didn't feel it that way. Maybe other teachers felt it that way, but I never really felt that it impacted my grades at all.
Okay, so let's move past a little bit. Actually, because I never actually finished telling you the story about Josh. So Josh's girlfriend, apparently, she knew me because we're like, oh, yeah, we met in 2014, and I'm like, huh? Yeah, we used to go to the beach together. I'm like,
Wait, which Josh is this? Is this martial arts Josh?
no, Abishan, no. Nothing to do with school. This is Hunter's friend that they both work together, and I just met him like a
this
year
more
ago.
recently. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and he got a girlfriend. He just started when was this? Probably like 2 months, maybe a month and a half ago, dating, and then I Josh was like, yeah, these are like my closest people, this, and this, and then he mentioned me, and she was like, oh, I know him, and I'm like, what? And she's like, we used to hang out at the beach with Amanda, with Thomas, what?
Oh,
And she mentioned you. She's like, do you remember what's his name? He's this guy that had like this little Justin Bieber hair, and you hated that. I remember that. Because you used to do your hair flip and stuff, and I'm like, I was also jealous of that because back then I was stemming from the Justin Bieber vibe. I'm like, I wish I
don't
had.
be. It all started off with a stupid bet with Anyways. Uh, anyways.
So yeah, she's like, yeah.
This-
So I'll get to her name, but she's like, yeah, we used to drink there, we used to do this, and we used to just hang out at the bar. Do you remember the Swarma bar in English Bay?
Yes, of course.
What a fucking throwback! And Vinny was there when Vinny first arrived because we were all fucking new to Vancouver, and we all. And I'm like, no, I still can't picture you. And then she's like, boom, Jesse, and I'm like, Jesse, no, Jessica. Oh, okay, yeah, I know who you are. I looked her up on Facebook. I'm like, yes, I remember. You probably don't remember. She's like this little. She's actually. She didn't talk much. She was more like a quiet stoner girl. But I remember her being part of the circle.
I don't remember.
At all, yeah, no,
Don't remember.
it's definitely. It's been a while, so I don't blame you. And I'm like, oh fucking, it's such a small world. So they're doing fantastic. I hung out with them a couple of days ago, but or a week or two ago, just to see how they're doing and stuff, and just catch up a little bit. But the little stories of like how, like, you live in France now. I don't know if you're planning to come back by any chance. Do you think you would come back after the virus or whatever the fuck happens?
Definitely I want to come back to Vancouver I don't know, every couple of years and stuff like that. But I've got a lot of stuff that I need to finish up in France. I don't know if I would live in Vancouver, but I definitely want to come visit again. That's for sure.
Let's say the virus ends in summer of this year. When do you think you would show up?
Maybe summer of the next year, winter. Yeah, probably summer of the next year.
Summer of the next year. Okay. So 2022 it is. Sweet. So let's fast forward. Boom, boom, boom. School sucks. This and this. Grades are shit. My grades are shit. I don't know about yours. And I couldn't adapt. It's knowing people. It's experiences. It's parties. It's what the fuck. It's just so much things going on. And then we graduate. Huh?
Right. During the end of high school. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of specific stuff because the major parties that we used to have was at your place. I remember there was one story that was funny when me and Arash had beef and we were upset because of a girl and Isaiah and all this madness, and then we went and they listened to me, and I'm like, it wasn't my fault, it was Arash. He twisted this whole, and we all went to beat up Arash. They tackled him. I'm surprised he didn't throw him over the seawall. And then I went to grab refugee in your house. I'm like, Farrell, buddy, I need your help, and you're there and present for me. Thank you for not getting me arrested, brother. Because they called the cops. They had that on tape and everything, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
but you
shit.
wouldn't have gotten arrested. I don't think.
I didn't hit him.
You
No.
would have gotten arrested for that than a lot of bloody high schoolers in Canada should be arrested for other stuff that are even worse. So
I do remember them calling the cops, and I saw the cops running around and stuff, and they were like watching and stuff. But they beat the fuck out of him. It was Isaiah and some other guy, Kyleman or whatever, and then I was with Robert McFarland and some other guy named Ali Sebit. And then I thank God I knew you that you're in that building. And it's funny because I always pass through your building because I do my bike ride, so I always think of you and the good times in your. What floor did you live on? 15, 20? What is it?
I don't remember.
Wow, it's been that long.
15s probably. Yeah.
When did you move back to Paris again?
At the end, as soon as I graduated, probably a month or two after that.
It's been 2015 then. Okay. So, fast forward a little bit. Unless you have any stories. Do you have any stories that you remember? Any good times? Probably something that I won't remember, so I can laugh a little bit. Apart from Yeah, I don't want to say about Sparky. Let me see how the audience goes, even though I have 2 viewers right now. But I want to see how the podcast folds up, and then maybe on the second time I have you on, we could be like, all right, fuck it, nobody gives a shit. Let's talk about the fucked up shit. But apart from that, even though that's a great story, but not everybody can. I don't want to be judged yet. Yeah, do you have any memories that you're like, huh?
No, nothing in particular that that comes to mind. Just little things here and there, but insignificant.
Mm. So then we graduated 2015 July, and then you're like, you know exactly what you want to do with life, or where were you at there in 2015?
2015. When? Are you sure it was 2015?
100%.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
July
Yeah.
20.
No, well, at that point I knew that thanks to bloody Canada's very open education system on offering a bunch of different domains in high school, I did psych classes that really interested me. So I decided to go back to France and pursue psych. So I did have an idea, but I didn't have a super concrete idea, a very specific idea of what I wanted to do later. And even I think that question is too hard to answer, and it's not even a good question because it closes you in this thing where you have to kind of set yourself a goal,
Right.
and then you have to get just that one goal, but it takes away a lot of reality out of it, because a lot of people just do a bunch of things in their lives. They spend 10 years as carpenters, and then become, I don't know, hotel owners and stuff like that. Like, life is full of
Cyclical. Yeah,
things.
it just goes through stages.
Yeah, so I didn't exactly know, and I still don't exactly know, but right now I'm in the near future going to try out the profession of clinical psychologist.
So, because I remember you mentioning hypnotherapy at one point. You want to become a hypnosis master hypnotist. I don't know what.
Maybe in the future, but it's not something that I have in mind at the moment anymore. It was because it was quite interesting, mystical, and all that, and I didn't know much else. So that's the thing that kept my attention when I was younger. But since I know more different fields of psychology, well, my horizons broadened and my interests fell into other sectors.
What do you
How
think?
about you? Did you know?
I had.
You know what you wanted to do?
I
Even
had.
though that phrasing is terrible.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so that's not. Let's rephrase that. How about your passion? Do you know what you love? Because it's not about doing. Because you're right. It changes. It makes sense. Do you know exactly what you love to do, or not even? Because I know we both share gaming, and fabulous. I agree with getting the fuck out of this world and focusing on another RPG, MMO, whatever first person shooter world, and gaming with your buddies is a good time. We love that, but we're not professional Twitch people that make money off of it. It's a very competitive market. Do you know?
Even that idea, I don't enjoy. I don't like that. I think there's still faults in
I agree.
idea that you have to do something with that has to do with your passion. What if somebody doesn't want to monetize their passion, and they just want to do something else for their living, and then have their own time on their passion, because maybe monetizing corrupts the whatever your passion is, and if it may be arts and stuff like that, maybe you just want to do that for yourself.
So yes,
Passion.
done. Makes sense. But what happens if let's picture a hypothetical world where money doesn't rule all. Done. It makes 100% sense what you do, because then we wouldn't be. It would be exchanging. People would be doing their pottering and their carpenter and their electrician, and they don't make money off of it. They just do it for free to give back. And it's an egalitarian, as I put here in the fucking the Discord. Man.
Hopefully, it could go so many different ways.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's equal. Not communism. Just everything should be treated equal, and no one's better than others. There's no social media, all that stuff. So what you say about passion makes sense, but then I'm like, so how do you survive nowadays if you can't monetize it, especially Vancouver or fucking Paris?
What do you mean? How do you survive? You
How do you?
survive by
Go ahead.
finding a strategy that enables you to feed yourself and house yourself,
Okay, but what does that require?
whatever that might be. Whatever your creativity enables you to think up. I don't know. For some people, it can be living in a caravan or in a tent in the woods. For others, it can be living in the city, having a stable job, and doing Mondays to Fridays from 8 to 5, and that's their lives, and they enjoy that. It's
Right. So I agree with all of them except probably like the Amazon rainforest because probably that's the only thing you don't require money for. But everything else requires money to live in. So how do you make that money then if that's the case? Because you're saying don't monetize.
however you no, however you whatever your imagination helps you think up as a strategy to feed yourself through acquiring goods, money, or else just acquiring your food directly, uh, if you're able. But everybody does their own thinking on that. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
How have you been surviving, brother?
Um, I've been surviving through. Well, I'm still finishing up my studies, so I don't have really income. I had help from the government that gives you a salary in France when you're not exactly a salary, but helps you financially every month if you're a student, if you have low um, income, if your parents are, if you have special familial situations and stuff like that, and that has helped me throughout a lot of the years.
Mm-hmm.
My parents helped me out throughout the years while I'm finishing my studies, and that's pretty much how I've been living because I live in a little 15 square meter apartment in residence.
Right. Does the girlfriend work or she also study?
She works. She does both. She's quite quite the fighter.
And it, does your school enable you to do both, or you it's just too much fucking pressure, so you gotta focus on one?
And some people manage it. She does, but it's school requires so much time and puts a lot of pressure already, and it requires you to be well in your head and in your body, so not completely tired that you fall asleep during classes and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's hard for people to keep jobs and do schooling. Some people do it, and if they manage to do both, like, dude, well done. Uh, I pull my hat
It's
to
not
you,
easy.
but
Yeah.
no, it's definitely not easy. I don't think it is. I think that I know even that having a job while you are in schooling is a good predictor of falling out during post secondary schooling.
Right. I don't, yeah, because I've been in that position too when I'm like, when I first started, my first job was at White Spot right across from Kits. And it was, sure, high school, which is not the same as obviously Langara or whatever. But I do remember working on the side for when I was in Langara. And yeah, I get fucking stressful. And we got to have a board meeting. We got to talk about your performance. We talk about how much you suck at this job. We got to talk about how you stole all this stuff. We got to accuse you for drinking wine. It was just most oblivious. I mean, not oblivious, more preposterous job. One of the most that I disagree with. It was good to get me out of my shell because that's really helped out for the introverted side of me. But I figured I'm like I can't see myself working for anyone because it just it feels like I can never meet their expectations. So I'm like, I'd rather fucking figure it out on my own and get help, not just be egotistical and being closed minded about it. No, I'm like, let's talk, let's find
And
a
thus
way.
today, you're an auto entrepreneur.
You're not an entrepreneur? Not yet. No, I don't believe
No,
so.
you're
Oh,
today. You're an auto entrepreneur.
auto. I guess. Yeah, I guess if you would name it that way. I guess it's because when you feed your mind, like I'm glad you take psychology, so you would probably agree in some sense, but self education is the next growing thing. Like school, I get it. If you know exactly what you want to do, go and figure it out. Like because if not, you're like in our buddy Shaka's position, in debt $50,000, which is not that amount, but around there. And it's like fuck, now what, buddy? For the rest of my life I gotta work to get myself out of that shit so then I can, it's like put back the dirt into the hole that he made, and then start crafting the building after that.
Dude, that's so insane. In North America, that system
It's
but
broken, man.
it's what makes the system keep on going, because you have to get a job after that. You have to contribute at the end of the year because you're in debt, and it's crazy. It's crazy, and at the same time it makes sense, but it's still crazy.
Sad, brother. I think it's yeah, it's sad. I feel bad because I love Shaka, man. What a great guy, genuinely hard. I've never seen him express emotions of any kind. I think it's because that's just the way his upbringing has been. I've never seen him depressed. I've never seen him. It's always either happy, chill, normal, or just doesn't want to talk. But it's like
Yeah.
you never have an argument with Shaka. That's
I've
why.
seen him
Huh?
mad once, maybe.
Upset? Yeah, no, upset. I get that. Yeah, yeah,
Upset?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah. He's called me out
very
because
rarely.
he's. There's been a moment in time that I used to be a pathological liar. I just couldn't stop lying just because my ego was very bruised and what happened to my dad, and I was more passive aggressive instead of drinking and beating the shit out of people when it was more or internal struggle. So with Shaka, I just now just with Shaka with everybody, I just lie. But Shaka would be really good at catching me because he knows me. So then he'd be like, "Liar!" and then he just screams it to your face, and I'm
That's
like,
true. You would say that.
he'd like point at you and laugh like the Simpsons guy, ha ha, that guy, and that hurt me, and I'm like, "Fuck, I can't lie to Shaka." Okay, I won't. I'll stop lying to Shaka. And then when people slowly call you out, I'm like, okay, let's try to change his behavior because that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be known for as the nobody can take me serious type of guy.
Mhm.
But yeah,
But
man.
that's
Mhm.
great insight that they have on your how you thought back then, and yeah, wonderful.
Oh, with being a pathological liar. Oh man.
Realizing what was fueling it, and even just realizing that if you were one, I don't know if you were one, but if you say that you were one, uh, usually people stay in their lies.
Yeah, yeah. It's like if you're a narcissist, you're just not gonna come out and go get therapy or gonna try to fix yourself.
Yeah,
You think everything's fine, right?
yeah.
And I know people like that. They're just like, no, what do you mean? Oh, I'm fine. You're an asshole. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was up to you. Like, so I figured everybody. That's like what I figure that it ties into everything that we're talking about. It's just like for me, growing and giving are like the top two things are like my priorities. It's like whether it's through adding value through my tech business, would be like, oh, let me help you out because the Geek Squad will scam you and they take too much money off of you, or if it's counseling, whether face to face, over the phone, or whatever. And I don't charge for that, obviously, because I'm not a certified motherfucker. But I have advice because I've been through shit. So I think that it's the nature versus nurture. It's both, right? It's you're born this way, blank slate, or you molded through your environment. Both. There's no one or the other. That's my opinion on that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's both too, or do you think it's one or the other?
No, it seems like it's both too, but it even goes further than that. There's epigenetics, where stuff that happen during even when you're in the your your mom's womb, but then it's still experience, but it changes your DNA and the way that it's going to express itself. So yeah, of course but that analogy of or that resuming it to nature versus nurture works
Right.
definitely. Yeah, exactly.
So what it ties into that is I was just saying that's like growing and giving are probably the two things that like make life wonderful. Obviously, relationships and being healthy, a family that you care about, this and that. But I figure that it stems from a mindset, and due to all this fear that's been put out by the virus. And I'm not saying don't listen to your government, don't put on masks. No, listen, because the fucking fine sucks. And if you don't want to take care of your elderly that might die because of
You guys have a fine too? I don't know how it works for you guys.
with COVID, if you go into a store without a mask and it says to come in a mask, I think they fine you $250, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I know, like for example, my dad just got back from Colombia. He has to segregate for 15 days. If he goes out, if he steps out, $1 million fucking fine, brother. You're fucked for the rest of your life.
$1 million fine.
And some jail time, I think, something like that too. Yeah. It's a good time, brother. So, yeah, they have it, but they're still ambiguous. Why don't they just fucking lock down everything? Whether you want herd immunity, which is, okay, go infect everybody, we'll all relax, and then we all get infected, and then after that, we move on. Some people develop antibodies, some people die. But just like anything else, some people die of the flu, some people
It's
don't
not
make...
that easy, dude. It doesn't work like that because there's variants that emerge that are already emerging in Europe. If you're immune to one form of COVID, it doesn't mean that you're immune to another. The losses would be drastic, and it's not only the elderly. It's also other people with other health problems. Um, so that's a lot of fucking dead people and hurt. But they're opting for. They seem to be going for another strategy of herd immunity, but not in how you were using it. It seems like they were going for, with the vaccination, you vaccinate you vaccinate a portion of the population, and you don't have to vaccinate everybody because, or you vaccinate strategically, like people who work in hospitals and stuff like that, so that those people serve as barriers, and they don't let the virus get into the smaller communities, because the people at the forefront of those communities are immune thanks to the vaccination, and that means that not everybody has to have the virus,
Right.
the vaccine. But they seem to be going for that, or at least that's what I saw from the WHO organization, who is recommending this now. Our government's going to put that into application. I don't know, but I think that what you were saying about the let it flow and we'll see who survives. Well, it's normal that you can think that way because you're young, but that is such a risky strategy. So many people could fucking die from that. I know someone that died from that. She was 47. Like, it's not just the old people, and my mother is like 50 or 62 or something like that. I don't want people to just be let free and contaminate my loved ones on the off chance that they would die, but it's something natural. So fuck it. No, we're humans. We can think of and build up strategies and be pragmatic and think up a plan that works more efficiently.
Do you know how New Zealand freed the virus? Like they don't have anything anymore there.
They eradicated the virus in
That's
New
right.
Zealand.
Yep.
Okay.
People are in stadiums again. Everybody's all together. It's fucking weird. I don't know exactly. I should look this up actually. How did New Zealand eradicate the virus? Because I wanna. Why don't they do that here? That's what I'm trying to do. And why don't they do it in France and all around the world? How did New Zealand get COVID free? Yeah.
It would be interesting. I didn't hear about New Zealand being COVID free.
On June 8th. Listen to this. Where is it? Let's go self isolation. Okay. because they got nothing. It locked down
So they
early and
closed their
it locked down
yeah,
early and aimed for
closed their
eliminations.
borders.
Yeah, effective communication and public compliance. But give me like the actual story. Planning leading to the weekend. 5 million people, just 2 dozen of COVID-19 kit. Okay, so New Zealand, a modern small island nation, has become an emblematic champion of proper prevention and response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Leading into this weekend, the country of approximately 5 million. There's only 5 million people in New Zealand? Wow. I didn't know that. Has just 2 dozen active 20 COVID-19 cases, a full month after having reported absolutely none on the backbone of strict initial travel policies, science-based government action, and strategies responses to testing limitations. Um, Basically, they did
They still
everything
have
right.
cases. They have very low amount of cases. Average of they had 0 for one time. Right now they seem to be at an average maybe 5 or 3 new cases per day, which is quite low compared to other countries, but it's not eradicated, I don't believe. Or at least this is from Google statistics. So,
I've
however reliable that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say like what is reliable then? What's the truth? Because I've seen people in stadiums and it's just like all back to normal, like the way that they're showing this on the media. How
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
did they do this?
They might have brought social life back to a similar state, but the virus might not be eradicated completely.
Okay. Um, Question is, how are you guys doing it? What are the what are they implementing there in France? Is it lockdown?
They we did France did kind of everything. In a sense, there was I can't even remember when. It feels like maybe a year ago they did a full lockdown. Um, like nobody was in the streets. It was actually quite insane in a sense,
Okay.
but amazing in another. Um, and then summer was quite. Uh, there were way less cases, and it was way more manageable for hospitals and such. Because before that big lockdown, um, people had to choose in hospitals who they were going to treat and who they were going to let die because there weren't enough beds, there weren't enough um, reanimation um, spots, um, respiration, respiratory, whatever technology,
Is it the ventilators?
respirators. Yeah, the ventilators, the respirators,
Okay.
and stuff like that. But now, or at least during the summer, it was more under control. Then it got back out of hand in the last couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
and we were confined. So we went from huge confinement to being kind of free, but everyone wears their masks kind of everywhere, and we could go back to school, and then a couple months ago they stopped letting university students go back to school. They closed bars, restaurants, and stuff like that. So all of that is closed in France. Just
Question. So,
necessary goods and stuff like that are
question.
open.
If you went out during the lockdown, what happens?
It depends. They implemented this thing not too long ago, maybe 4 months ago. They implemented after 8 p.m. everybody has to be at home from 8 to 6, and then during the day you could wander around. Now it's 6 to 6, so 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
And you couldn't get fined. You get fined first fine of like $150, and then the second fine if you've already gotten fined of 1,000 euros, um, stuff like that. So that's how they're dealing with it. They're dealing with it kind of through fear because, well, they don't have other strategies, but they're trying to keep as well the economy kind of going, and it's that constant battle of how much you let things keep on going to keep the economy going, but you also constrain so that they're, the situation, the infection is manageable.
Mm, when it comes to so when it comes to lockdown and all this stuff, what do you how do you entertain yourself, brother? I know you got school and everything, so let's say you got to take a break from school because you can't be doing it 24/7 apart from sleeping and having a good time with the girl. But um, is there any other stuff that you find a way to entertain yourself? Because it gets boring,
Me,
brother.
yeah, but it doesn't. It hasn't really changed my life. I've, I spend most of my time inside in any case. So me and my friends were not so impacted in our daily lives. I spend
Oh, I
most of
see.
my time inside, either playing, doing music, or learning, watching things.
Mm-hmm.
But for other people, it was for more extroverted people who need that social interaction quota. They it was definitely harder for them. There's still parties that they go to because they definitely feel the need to see other people. If not, they're really not well. They're really depressed, really unhappy, and stuff like that. So me, it hasn't impacted me too much. I still find ways
Entertain yourself.
to entertain myself, yeah, without too much problem.
So it's actually a good.
Especially extroverted people that take
Nothing,
the hit.
nothing wrong with being introvert, extrovert, or ambivert if that's the thing. Definitely, it helps. I can see people, if like where you're at, pretty much. That you're studying your own psychology, you're trying to figure out what is the meaning of life in a very philosophical and practical way. That you're like, all right, let's grasp onto these facts and stuff. But um, for you, it hasn't really affected you apart from like maybe if you know anybody with COVID that you're like, oh, that's fucking terrifying. I don't wanna get involved with that mess. Or like, fuck. Let's hope they get all like they get vaccinated or they get that it's gonna be all right in the end. Like, do you have that feeling of I don't know if the word is. Do you have faith that everything's gonna be okay, or things are gonna go more into the shitter?
I feel like the mentality, the general mentality that seems to have emerged, and also in my own mind, is living more by on a day by day basis because the future has become so floof, so blurred, blurry in a sense. You don't exactly know what the future is gonna be. How you can't exactly plan on things. I know I'm supposed to be finishing my studies, and I'm gonna be taking um, an apartment and living with some people. But I'll have to be finding a job. What is the job that I'm gonna find? I have no clue how I'm gonna live exactly. So it's all very hypothetical. It's way more hypothetical at the moment than before. So, and I don't exactly know if I don't really base myself on a faith idea. I just live more in a day by day and month by month mentality, and I feel like that's also what's kind of emerging because people can't really plan in long run anymore. All their plans have been put to rest or put on pause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It seems like the
How about
world's.
you,
With what question?
in regards to how you feel about the future of the situation and how it impacts your future and your faith?
I think what I've put together throughout this time is like people have either become super fearful about the situation. Um, there's just so much fear, and that suppresses your immune. Therefore, you're more susceptible to the virus. So it's like being really self-aware about stuff. Obviously, again, listen to the fucking government. It makes sense. Unfortunately, whether they're doing this based on fear or for your own good health, I don't know. Conspiracies are everywhere, man. I don't fucking know what the truth is. I wish there was transparency and genuinity. I don't know if that's the word in this world because it's so hard to know what's truth and what's not. So, as of right now, for example, tomorrow they let us know, hey, we're gonna put us all again in another 2 week, another month, not lockdown. They're ambiguous with their law, so they go, you can't see some people, but you can see your household people. But those people, if they live alone, technically they can see somebody else. It's either a lockdown or don't. It's go to Costco or don't. It's like you can go to funerals and get married, but you can't
Well,
fucking.
yeah,
The
that's the thing. But it's more recommendations of how to act in order to keep this the collective uh, nationwide population um, safe. But it's recommendations where we need to understand what is the underlying l- logic around these recommendations. And since we also don't know much about how the virus is transmitted, but we know way more at the moment, we've been able to clarify that that kind of thing. So these recommendations, everybody needs to kind of look it up, and I don't look it up enough. I wish I did, but yeah, we need to understand what is the underlying logic. Like, okay, this is how the virus works. This is ways that we know of how we can know that we have it or not, and that we're infecting people or not. So then you develop your own way of acting without being a prick to people. And but unfortunately, people don't inform themselves a lot, so the governments have to give recommendations of how to act because people are in fear, or people are don't read scientific articles. People don't inform themselves much on the virus apart from through like newspapers and news broadcasters and stuff like that. So
So, regarding one thing, have you ever noticed that in the news they actually don't? They're not like, "Hey, go do some exercise. Make sure to take that you're staying healthy. Your multivitamins. Make sure that you're eating your greens. Make sure to prevent all this bullshit." Why don't they tell people that, man? That.
oh, they tell people that in France that
Oh, okay, maybe not here.
States.
What do they recommend you to do? Like, sure, I get the okay, stay home, say your social distancing, but regarding health wise, what do they tell people?
They tell people to go out and exercise a bit, at least once a day, and so you have during confinement, you have to go out with a piece of paper, but then you can do your jogging, do your whatever, walk around a little bit with your mask and stuff like that, and go home. The rest of the time, they push people to, or they recommend uh, not seeing your friends and family, but definitely keeping in touch with them. Uh, in the best case scenario, through online services, communication services, and stuff like that, which isn't compelling. It doesn't satisfy completely your social urges, but it's still something
Yeah,
that's non-negligible. So I don't know. They, yeah.
it's yeah. This is fucking strange. We haven't had something like this since the influenza 1915 or whatever the. It's weird, eh? It's like what the like now it's so common to see everybody with masks and all this stuff, but when you first get used to it, you're like, what kind of dystopia are we living in, man? And you got your fucking trumpets, all these clowns that follow this clown, and it's just like, wow, man. And again, I don't know anything about politics because I don't fucking know. But what if they portray him and what type of person he is? That's another topic. And then you got your like there's so many things you can focus on, so it's like where are you gonna where energy goes, where focus flows, energy goes. It's like wherever you're gonna put your energy to something, you're just gonna feel it because meaning equals emotion. You're giving meaning to something. Trump equals shit. You're giving that in my perspective, I don't know,
Hmm.
but you're giving that meaning that this guy for the things he believes in and all his views and how narcissistic and what a shitty president. He's crazy to do this. We're not inaugurating Joe Biden to the White House. I'm fucking out of here. I'm gonna go play golf. Like none of that makes sense. It's crazy that some people find that makes sense. I have a buddy who's a Trump supporter, and I'm like,
Hmm.
we it's fine to have, we agree to disagree, that's fine. But it's like, what do you do when everybody really disagrees and everybody's opinion and fucking, and you just have, we are a divided nation, man, right? Like the whole world is just fucking, it's division. It's the word dichotomy. It's them versus us, right? It's not a we mentality. It's not how it should be or what I think it should be for us to be like a stable and peaceful world where whether it's like if war is always going to go on, if hunger, famine is always going to go on, it's just like if we stop making it about me and we make it about we, then we can fucking finally get somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it's caring for one another, but how do you do that? How when
Yes,
people
but we is at different levels. Is it the we of you and your mates and your family? Is it the we of you and your community and in your local town? Is it the we of you and your country, or is it the we of every country and all the populations around? And that's, you would like something to work at every single one of those levels, but making something work at every single one of those levels is not an easy task,
right.
At all.
I don't know the answer to that because there's just so much division in this world, and there's just if you're this type of color, if you're this type of have this much money, if you, it's like yikes, man. The more you realize it, the more you, whether you watch the news or not. I don't. I just rather like feed myself with positive shit because the news is there to startle you, to grab your attention. Now it takes 14 advertisements for us to like be attracted to one. Back then it was like 4 or 5 back in the 80s. So we're almost stimulated. Yeah, we're overstimulated with information, but we're starving for wisdom, buddy. There's just so much garbage out there. You know, it's like making sure you're feeding your mind. And in a way, it's like, how can you take care of your mindset when all that's being portrayed in the media is fear? How many people died today? How many this? Sure, to inform you, but it's also business. They got to make money. Whether they're evil people or not, we don't know. I don't know because there's just too much.
But I feel like you kind of have your mind set on the question.
Because I know you're more. I don't know how you feel about all this shit. Like I know how you feel, but I don't want to seem contradictory as fuck because I want to seem as rational as possible. I'm like, that makes sense, or I disagree with you, but whatever.
We can be rational and be in contradiction with one another, and if we agree on everything, then there's no conversation. We're just saying, yeah, dude, you're totally right, and this, yeah, dude,
right,
great. But it's interesting when we're not in agreement.
I agree. And most of the time, this is why I only interview mainly like interesting people because I got a lot of friends that I'm like, I don't think I can have a conversation. I want to go more than 2 minutes, man. So people that have a story that are, whether they're foreigner or not, just like I want to make this platform as available for most people, like 99% of them, but just some people I just say I can't. there's nothing to talk about, man. There's just nothing going on. You don't care. There's no back and forth. It's not. You don't have that flow. Have you read the book Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi?
No, I feel like Shaka talk to me about it, but
please, brother, please, one of those fucking books. If you like being in the mindfulness, if you like being in the present moment, like if you're taking a day by day type of stoic approach of stuff, please, one of those books that I'm like, Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And how do you spell that? I have no idea. You know what? I'll send it to you through. No fucking idea, brother. Flow. Mihai. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. That's literally how you say it too. They have like the. There it is. I typed it for you. On disk. So, where are we at? 1:15. Yeah, we got like a couple more minutes left. I was thinking to draw a conclusion here with some subjects regarding gaming, because Shaka put this into my mind. I had no idea that you were like you blew my mind with some stuff. I'm like, what the fuck, really, man? I'm surprised me and you didn't get along more. That you yourself are as a gamer. What are your thoughts on actually like? Because I see you sometimes in Wars, or I see you sometimes playing your Rust or What's
Yeah.
fucking games do I see? I can't think of any other ones. But what's the purpose? What is your stance on gaming? Everybody has their waste of time. No thanks. Not interesting. Not fun. I'd rather live in the moment. Or rather experience life. Like everybody's got their own perspective. What are your thoughts on gaming?
Oh, it's that I like to spend my time, and I don't really know what to say. It's not the most productive way to use my time, but I still enjoy it, and I nuance my time with other other hobbies. But gaming is definitely at the center of a lot of my time. Unfortunately, in a sense, sometimes I need to do other stuff, and I use it to procrastinate, and sometimes it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
just a good way, and especially in this pandemic situation, it's nice to unite with buddies. It's a good way to keep in contact and keep on doing stuff
Yeah.
with
Agree.
mates, like Warzone has been for us when we did a couple games together and stuff like that, and we hadn't talked in a while, so
Who do you usually play with? People in France, or do you ever reach out to people around here?
not much people around um, Canada, mostly with my mates and friends. Yeah.
Hmm. And I'm guessing it's due to the time constraint of you being 9 hours, 10 hours ahead of me, or whatever.
That plays as well. Ping,
Yeah.
gosh, ping is a bitch, especially in our action orientated
FPS shooters.
games.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a bummer, all right, brother. So if you say that your top three games of 2021, 2020, what would you say?
But Rust, like Rust is amazing.
Hmm.
Rust is definitely amazing discovery, and probably Apex
Really?
and
Okay.
League of Losers as always.
League of Losers, brother. I never thought about that name. I know Monoruski and you had that in common. I never. For me, League of Legends is just like what I see it is like a flight simulator, man. There's so many fucking buttons you gotta press to kill the dude, and I'm
Yep,
like, no,
yep.
there's just too many things going on and too overstimulus
But
and
it's so satisfying when you kind of get all that the required knowledge to start playing. It's very satisfying, but definitely getting into it. If you have especially bad experiences at the beginning, you might not be interested, and that's definitely understandable.
what type of game is that called? MMO?
MOBA, I believe.
That was MOBA stand for.
Multiplayer Online Battle Arena.
MOBA. Okay. Yeah, that's just like a too many buttons type of thing. Rust, I get, so I'm surprised you don't play Minecraft because isn't it like the same shit, but not really.
It's similar. It's similar, but it's it's basically it's a shooter game. So it
Right.
has that FPS component that's really um, at the center of my interests, and also a creative base design aspect as well, with also a like one session it can be a month long. You can play a 1 month long game basically, and all of these other games are 1 hour long, half an hour long, 10 minutes long, and stuff like that. So that was a real game changer for me.
Hmm. Um, just to, because okay, so Rust, Apex, I like realistic games, so no judgment. I get like I've really incorporated the no judgment to my life anymore. I used to judge people that played World of Warcraft and League of Legends. Now I don't care. I don't. It's got nothing to do with me. It's like,
Wow, so you judged me for all these years.
can you believe that, brother? No, man, I don't care. And like in the end of it, I'm like, you do you. It's just like it's like me getting mad at people, gay people getting married. Why? It has nothing to fucking do with me. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So it's like what Andre Lee used to say, man. Don't worry about it. It's as simple as that. As Shaka pulls
Simple
that,
as
Shaka pulls that out of his ass every time. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, you're not worried about your debt? Don't worry about it. All right, buddy.
Don't worry about it, dude.
It's got nothing to do with me. I guess you're right, buddy. You're right. So, yeah, I didn't look down upon him. Like, ew, you play this shit? It's like Fortnite. Like, what the fuck, man? How 48-year-olds playing Fortnite? Why? It's like it's games developed for like under 14 years old. Like, above that, you're child. It just I don't see it. But I would personally never. I think because I'm more graphics intense. I like games that look beautiful, that are more realistic. That makes more sense. I appreciate the detail and very detail oriented with stuff. So if I can show you something with because you know Minecraft, you've probably I don't know if you have played it before or not.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Is there any chance I could show you something that a texture pack that I'm working on? I'm trying to make it like a big thing.
Of course,
think
dude.
this could be like the. Let me just share my screen here. Let me know when you join.
And I've joined.
Okay, sweet. So this is my interface for Streamlabs OBS. I can move. This is how the Twitch live stream sees me. This is my interface of changing the camera's angle, so I can like take out the background. I can blur it out, or I can like even auto frame it, which is pretty cool. But
Nice.
taxing as fuck, so I just rather keep it like this. So the texture pack that I'm currently using is because you know what Minecraft looks like, right? You know the
Yeah, of course. And I've seen that a lot of people have developed texture packs and added plugins that make the games so much, or it's so beautiful.
So you can appreciate the fact because I know what's your specifications of your computer again? What are you rocking?
GTX 1070, AMD Radeon 3.4 gigahertz or something like that, and 16 gigabyte RAM.
Okay, so no, it's definitely a decent mid-tier to high-end computer.
Yeah, it works.
It runs. You're happy with it. No complaints, right? Again, brother, I'm just gonna give you my elevator pitch. Any fucking questions of technology, I got you, brother.
Of course, I know that. Thank you.
Of course. So let me just show you the before and after. This is before Minecraft. This is what Minecraft looks like nowadays.
Wow.
So that's before. This is after. So this is a lot of work put into it. We have ray tracing going into this. We got a separate texture pack. As you can see, the grass is different itself, right? So here we're rocking 16 by 16 textures. Here we're rocking 512 by 512 texture packs. What does that mean? So in each block of Minecraft, of one block itself, it's 16 pixels. In our texture packs, we go either 128 pixels by 128 pixels, 256, 512, 1028, or 2048 by 2048 in one block. It's so taxing. There's no computer. You can go to the NASA and they wouldn't be able to run Minecraft with all the textures enabled. And that's the constant joke. He's like, dude, can I cook eggs on the computer, man? Because it overheats. There's just so much power putting into this, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to give you some before and afters because you know what the game looks like. So this is before, and that's after, right? I'm still trying to figure out how to remove this line in the background, but the water looks crystal clean, like you're in fucking Bora Bora. Let me just actually switch this.
And when you say it's our pack,
yeah,
you're working on it with other people.
So let's put it this way. Let me just give you a little bit more comparisons, and I'll show you what, and then I'll explain to you that. So you know redstones and stuff. We got redstone block. We got some new textures here. Glowstone. I don't know what this is. Lever. Boom.
Sick.
So now it's way more detailed. Each little texture takes infinite amount of time to do. This is another before and after. Attention to detail. I'm very meticulous with my life. Very OCD about shit. So, for example, this texture pack here about cobblestone, we don't have it yet, so that stays the same. But everything else, windows, ladders, glowstone. This is white concrete or polished granite. I think it is. Polished black something, andesite, something like that, smooths it out, or just concrete itself. This is another one. Cool. Before and after. The wool is just it's crazy, man. It's just this is
Yeah,
black wool,
really.
gray wool and black wool. There's two different ones. The armor reflects itself. Got a little bit more of ray tracing going on here, which is like how the lighting, the shadows are affected by the sun. And the positioning of the
Yeah,
sun matters.
yeah.
That's taxing. The amount of detail that they put into this shit. We got some viaducts, air ventilation ducts with the brand new ladders.
Sick.
Some more glowstones, and this just makes my soul happy. Just this the cleanliness. Like I can vacuum here and feel nothing. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Yeah.
very OCD in the soul. My house is mint because that's how I just want to keep the reflection of who I am on the inside. Whoever comes over, whatever. Like I believe your mindset is really reflected on what your exterior looks like. In my sense, I don't know if that's true for everybody, but um,
Oh, my place would make you have a lot of anxiety.
and most people say that too, right? And I'm like, I don't judge other people, so it doesn't work that way. It's if I live with you, I have a problem, right? If I don't live with
Yeah.
you, it doesn't bother me, right? It's your house. So what do I do? Like when I go to my girlfriend's place, I clean up their house every weekend. And because I'm there for the weekend. I'm like, okay, I'll just be their Colombian maid, and they don't pay me. I just do it for fun. And
You
right?
gotta ask to get paid at one point, dude.
Yeah. So as you can see, oh, this is the before and after, but yeah, we got some vents, and that's it. And some people are just like, I don't believe you. There's no fucking way that's Minecraft. Matter of fact, it is. I can prove it to you in game that this is like the new thing. We're in 2021, man. This game has been out for 10 years now, right?
20.
10 years, yeah, 10 years. 2011. Yeah. So I believe this can be the next breakthrough. So I'm trying to stream this on Twitch so people can fucking find me and be like, hey, look what we're doing here. Instead of playing Minecraft like everybody plays it, this is taxing, but it's doable. You don't need a computer from NASA. The minimum requirements is like a GTX 970, which is a card from 7 years old.
Yeah.
Your computer could do it. It's just optimizing the settings, right?
Mm-hmm.
I built my own little cozy home. I would like to have it in real life, but
Very nice.
yeah. So this is like how I appreciate the architecture and stuff, and we're trying to figure out crossbows. We have like the concept, but we don't. Okay, so let me just explain how the fuck we do all this. The whole point of how this happens is, so the lighting effects is one thing. Shader packs are one thing. So that gives the sun the rays that come down from the sun, and then they shine up everything. They give you your shadow packs, right? It gives you. This is one way of doing it. But what the guys do, so one guy is Ultimate Immersion, other guy is UMS OEA. They keep themselves anonymous. I don't know their real names. And one guy is Realism Mats, so I'm guessing his name is Matt. One guy from Sweden, Switzerland, Luxembourg, all around you actually. And these guys go in detail with planks. They take pictures in real life of high quality 8K, like with an 8K camera, and they take pictures either 8K or 4K, something like that. And then they downscale it through different software called Houdini and DaVinci and some other shit that that you can make this, like you can it's like Blender, that you can make, they can turn into a texture pack for the game to run. But it's so taxing, so it's like you're merging the lighting effect from one guy. That's another guy we don't have access to. His name is Cody. He's the guy that does all the lighting that makes the shadows happen. Without this, the game would look it wouldn't look as realistic. You just get the texture pack, but it wouldn't look, you wouldn't have the ray tracing. The when this emits light, you wouldn't have it bounce off every single corner, right?
Right.
So what these guys do is they do the, yeah, thank you. They do the they do the texture packs and stuff. So they do the chiseled quartz. They do the this is a terracotta or whatever the fuck. This is prismarine that you find underground. Somehow I have no idea how they managed to do this. I haven't asked. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I guess I
it's,
can. That sand,
Cutting off
exactly.
over the next blocks.
Crazy. And they're just trying to make this the next thing. I think it has a future. As I saw one day on Twitch, I'm like, huh, okay, well, people, 50,000 viewers, playing, one guy playing Fortnite, another one playing Warzone, GTA 5, Valorant, and then I saw a kid, man. He's like fucking 13 years old. 360,000 views, brother. And in one channel. I've never seen so many people on fucking Twitch on just one channel. And I was just like blown away, brother, of how crazy, like when you have nothing better to do in your life and you're like, you know what, let's go on Twitch and let's just watch people. And he's like a 12-year-old kid. He made like $5,000 US in 1 minute of subscriptions, of sponsorships, of people donating to him, of it's unbelievable, man, how they make money and they just shit and they don't do anything. They're just watching him game. I want to add value in a way that I'm like, I can make your game look prettier. I want to be able to change the not just me.
It will change your life.
In a way, right? Like if people, this game is still a big thing. People still like this game, and I just the quality of it, like comparing. There you go, comparing between that and that. It's just, oh man, we're in 2021, man. Like, right? It's so clean. So I'm hoping one day somebody notices me and be like, hey, that's fucking awesome, buddy. Good work. And I'm like, it's not all my credit. I'm not like, taking money for this. I want to show you guys.
It is awesome, dude. Good work.
Do you think it's possible? Yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping one day somebody whether it's that Tommy kid with 360,000 is like, what the fuck is this? And then boom, we explode. I'm hoping, because then once you have like a little, what's the word? Following, life just becomes easier. People start to trust you, and they see who like your personality, and they're like, oh, this guy's interesting. Can I relate to him? And is he entertaining? Is he like, yeah, basically, can I trust this dude? So, and is there a way for them to add value? Usually, kids don't think that way, but like subconsciously, whether they know it or not, I think that it can be a major breakthrough, right? This is an Eye of Ender. Let me show you the obsidian blocks. I really enjoy these.
Especially the reflected blur. Amazing.
Right?
The
Yeah.
shadow.
So watch this. So if I take off shader packs. See the difference?
Yeah.
We got the textures, but we don't have. And then my FPS is actually more doable. I'm at 1,000 frames. Like, okay, sure. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. But it's not the same. It's, you turn PTGI, which is his version of ray tracing, which is called Path Tracing Global Illumination by Sonic Either Unbelievable Shaders. He makes all the beauty happen. But what happens if I take the resource pack off? Alright, it looks like Minecraft, but with lighting. Right? It's just your regular textures. Which is still nice. Like, people, if they start doing this, that's why he's the most successful for now. Because not many people know about the texture pack itself. He's doing really well just making the game, just with lighting, look good. Whether it's these by 16 by 16 textures. But then what I do is, people create their own textures, which is the guy from Switzerland, Sweden, and Luxembourg. And I merge them together. So they all create different texture packs. I have to make sure it's not buggy. I got to make sure it's optimized. I got to make sure it runs on the minimum requirements. And then I create the ultimate pack. Boom. I install it. And that's including everybody's textures. And then the game sometimes crashes. Or sometimes it doesn't, and it fucking flows, right? We got solar panels. This is the redstone. That's one of the guys.
Sick.
We got obsidian there. Let me show you the bookshelves. The bookshelves might. I actually did. Let me show you again. Oh, okay. This one's fun. We got like the enchantment table. So there's, again, because there's so many versions of. No, it's actually here. Texture resolution. So right now I'm rocking 512, right? What does that mean? 512 by 512. In each block in Minecraft, there's 512 by 512 pixels.
Yep.
What's the mathematics, brother? 512 times 512. 512 times 2. 1024. 512 by 512. 1024 pixels in one block. Minecraft runs by 16 by 16. That's 256 pixels. That's 5 times more. Right? I could throw this up to 1024 times 2, 2480, 2048, and then 2048 I can do times 2, 4096 in one block. That's a lot of fucking pixels, man. Like,
Definitely.
my game wouldn't. I don't think it would run more than 1 or 2 frames at this resolution. So the most suitable for like a survival game would be 128, 256. After that, then it gets taxing. Like, you need a higher end computer. Did you ever see the finished product of my computer? Have I showed you it?
The finished what?
Product, because I rebuilt. I bought a new computer. I got rid of the old one and I started over
No,
fresh.
I don't think so.
Go to here. Twitch TV/Tekken. Right? Twitch TV./Tekken. Yeah. Just look that up on stuff and then go down where I'm streaming right now. Scroll down to the about section and you'll see my computer there.
To find you on Twitch.
Yeah. And if you have Twitch, buddy, subscribe, brother, because I'm trying to get affiliate. Try to get more. It's not even about money. I'm trying to do it for the exposure. You're a legend, brother. Thank you.
I got you.
New follower, Psychiatrix.
Gosh. So you managed to get a new graphics card?
Oh, you know about
Yeah.
the new ones?
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to get their hands on some, and there's none in stock at the moment, at least in
Until April,
France.
brother. Yeah, that's right.
Until April.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Okay.
I got really lucky with the processor and the graphics because I guess early bird gets the worm. I was able to wake up at 5 a.m. and line up for 5 hours to get my name on a wait list because they don't even have it in stock. I had to be on a wait list for,
Holy shit.
oh man, I don't even know, 2 weeks for the processor and then like 2 months for the graphics card. So I went all in. I sold my old system. I sold it to a friend that he actually has multiple sclerosis, and all he does is the only thing he can do in his life is because he can't move. Right, it's a very debilitating nerve. I think it's an immune disorder. His immune system's quite fucked. So the only thing he can do is game, and he wanted to upgrade his system. And I'm like, my system before this was already powerful. So I now want the best because now I know what I want to do with my life, which is pretty much help out people. I want to be the tech guy. I want to be the guy that they call for help, and I want to modify their games because not many people have. Like, I would do this for people. You know what I mean? Like, I would, hey, whatever, by donation, because that's how I charge people. I'm like, you give me whatever you want, and then so I can add value for you. And if you like my service, come back or spread the word, and we'll go from there. But I sold it to the guy for $3,000, and then I built this one for $5K, I think it was. Again, I went all in because for the fanatic of gaming that I am. I usually game at the nighttime. This is rare for me, but I had to have the conversation with you, and I wanted to show you what we're trying to accomplish, to see if you can spread the word of being like, hey, if you know any Minecraft dudes, tell them to sub to me so I can show them how to do this. And once the final project releases, either I can do it for them, or we'll do like a Patreon of like whatever, $10 for the texture pack or something. Because it takes, yeah, takes a lot of fucking work to do this. Oh, what I hear from these guys, man, it's like hours and hours. So, yeah, man, very happy about how it went today. Thank you very much for joining me, for taking your time, even though it's 12 o'clock for you or whatever.
Thank you. Oh, it's wonderful catching up. Seriously.
As always, brother. And anytime you ever have time to play, immediately. I know you got buddies there, so I don't blame you. But if you ever have, I want to play with my Vancouverites, brother. Sure, give me a call, man. I'm in. Always, always happy to. Any
All
other
right, sounds
questions,
good.
comments, or we're good?
No, I think we're good, and thank you. Yeah, thanks for your time.
Appreciate you, brother. I will keep in touch, and we'll go from there. Until next time.
All right, sounds good.
Take care, brother.
Well, have a wonderful day, dude, and talk to you soon. Peace.